right. So first, let me ask you this. During college, were you in any fraternities?
Yes, I was. In fact, I was the president of my chapter of Sigma Phi Epsilon, or Sig Ep. And let me be clear, because there's a very different world of fraternities at some colleges. What we had at TCU, 40% of the campus is Greek.
Mm-hmm.
40% of the campus is in some of their NCAA athletic program. So the vast majority of students at TCU are either in sports or they're in the Greek life. And Sig Ep, when I was at that chapter, was finishing in the top of the school in terms of GPA average, our manpower, just in terms of our membership, and our service to the university, and athletics. So we were striving to live the balanced man ideal. That is actually the motto of the Sig Eps. And so I was elected president as a sophomore. Actually, I ran unopposed. It was a really special time, and it was just par for the course for me, because like I would be a lifeguard and watching the pool when everyone else is swimming and having fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of how I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so to be president of that chapter, so I can kind of watch over it, manage the risk, and hopefully everyone has a good time, but they get what they're really there for, which is an education and to make good brothers, friends that has a spiritual and a moral component to it. And that was a really great structure to my experience at TCU. Although I'd say a lot of my really good friends from school were outside of the fraternity. There are people I met outside of the chapter and the other programs, that my friends from the theater program, my friends from the business school, and so forth.
So what? And the reason why I asked is, was there a difference for admittance? Could somebody join your fraternity with the term that I heard, a paper, like a paper member, like just sign a form and then you're a member, or you had to go through a process? No. Okay.
It was a recruitment-based process.
Got it.
Yeah. And so I was, the gentleman that recruited me, Matt Friedman, he's a legend at TCU. He had really turned that chapter, taken it to the next level, put him into the top 3 in those categories. He ended up being a triple major, English, biology, and chemistry, and he graduated with a 4.0. So he was a junior, and I was an incoming freshman. He recruited me, and he basically tapped me to be the future leader of the chapter. And he just saw something in me in terms of my work ethic and my intellect, that he wanted to be part of that chapter. And so he recruited me, and that's made all the difference.
Got it. Because all right, so because there are some fraternities and sororities where if you pay the right fee and sign the right paper, you can call yourself a member of that fraternity or sorority. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, but that's not how it worked at TCU. Their Greek life has actually a pretty elaborate recruitment process, the rush process, the summer before you matriculate, and they look at inbound candidates. They meet with you, they socialize with you, they kind of see what your career goals are and kind of how you like to socialize, and you end up falling in with one of them. But you have to get recruited. There's a recruitment committee, and they have to actually extend you an offer in order to get in. So you can't just buy your way in.
Got it. Because the reason why I asked, man, because when I heard of this thing that I'm about to ask you about, I looked at it like that. I said, I wonder if the existing members would consider this cheating, or would they high five you for using your words, your innovative creatism? Like, so there are four states, right? You know where I'm going, that allow you to take the bar without going to law school. How do existing attorneys feel about that? Or do y'all like, all right, if you can do it, do it? Or are you like, you didn't go through Rush Week like I did. You didn't go through the taxing stuff like I did.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Fair enough, too. I think that if you can pass the bar exam, welcome to the practice of law. I think that going to a 3-year Juris Doctorate program, that's kind of the gold standard. It's I found it to be extraordinarily valuable in shaping my intellect and my approach to problems. And it filters out those who are not tenacious and disciplined enough to be a good lawyer. And so that's one thing I would worry about, is if you relax the standards for admission, you end up with people practicing law that they just, you shouldn't trust them with your case because they don't have the follow through. And so that's not necessarily the as advertised purpose of law school, but it's a practical effect of creating that barrier to entry as well as the bar exam. But I just find it hard to pass the bar exam if you haven't been studying the law for years.
Mm-hmm.
You can't fake it. You can't cram for the bar. I'm sorry. You got to stack 1.5 feet high of text of laws that they can test you about. You can't cram for that. So if you can pass the bar exam without going to law school because you had a mentor attorney and you spend a bunch of time in the law library or just reading at home, more power to you. I think in many ways with the bar exam, another practical effect of it, it's not as advertised what it's testing for, but it's testing to see whether you have the discipline and the ability to sacrifice yourself for at least 2 months of no personal life, drop everything you're doing, and wrap your brain around this massive problem that is bigger than anyone. You know, it's so hard to ace the bar exam. Like the average passing score is just a few points over failure. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a hard exam.
Uh-huh.
And that's sort of a minimum competency exam. It's just a few points over failure is the average passing score. So it's a question of, do you have the desire? Do you have what it takes? Do you have the ability to stop what you're doing and put everything into this case? Because when you're practicing law, sometimes that's what it takes. When you go to trial, a lot of trial attorneys will lose weight in the month before their big day. They can't even eat. They're so caught up in their case. They're studying at night. They're working through the weekends. I mean, it's not necessarily healthy, but those are the kind of things that surgeons do. Those are the kind of things that lawyers have to do. Executives at a high level, they have to do that. And the bar exam, you basically can't pass it unless you did that for a couple months.
Okay, I like how you answered that, because even to the trained ear, I still don't know where you stand on it. You're a great attorney. All right, but that's good. So